Take a ferry ride to Watson's Bay. It's great in any weather. Waiting for the ferry. While you're waiting for the ferry, catch some Aboriginal culture at Circular Quay. Hear the wonderful rhythms of the didjeridu, but be very, very careful of the red-bellied black snake at the end of this didge. Walk around to the western end of Circular Quay to get the very best views of the Opera House. In the sunshine, the sails are always sparkling white. And if you're lucky, you might see an old sailing ship like the Savannah. Also, if you're lucky, there might be a big cruise ship in port, so you'll be able to see it too. The ferry ride. As soon as the ferry starts backing out of Circular Quay, have your camera ready. You'll be able to get great pictures with the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House in the background. Marvel at the architecture and the wonderful sails of the Opera House as your ferry leaves the bridge and the Opera House behind on the way to Watson's Bay. The first stop is Garden Island. There's a museum there, but it's also where the Royal Australian Navy boats go. Marvel at the mansions built on the hillside on the foreshores of Sydney Harbour. And have a look at all the boats. There are all sorts of boats, everything from yachts, pleasure cruises, and the old tinnies that people use for fishing. There are lots and lots of boats in every bay on Sydney Harbour. But don't forget to look back and you'll see the skyline of Sydney. It is dominated by Sydney Tower, the highest structure in Sydney. There are also two islands in this part of the harbour. First, there's Shark Island, and then there's Clark Island. And now we've arrived at Watson's Bay, dominated by the famous Doyles Seafood Restaurant. But you can also eat at the kiosk and have your lunch sitting in the park. And you can look back over the city from the hill. After lunch, it's time for a short stroll to the Gap. You can watch the waves pounding against the bottom of the cliffs. The Gap has a special place in Sydney folklore. And if you look out to sea, you can sometimes see a boat or a yacht, or the tourist jet boat. And then it's time to catch the ferry back to Circular Quay. See if you can spot a manly ferry, like the Collaroy. Going past the Opera House, drag your eyes away and have a look at Pinchgut. It's on the other side of the ferry. When you get back to Circular Quay, take some time to have a look at the ferries. There are always ferries coming and going. It's a very busy little part of the harbour. Sunset at the Opera House. Walk around to the Opera House for an absolutely gorgeous view at dusk. Check out the direction of the wind from the flags on top of the bridge and count how many groups of bridge climbers you can see up on the bridge having a sunset tour. Then kick back and relax as you watch the sunset over the famous coat hanger, Sydney Harbour Bridge. Enjoy the view as the lights come on all over the city and especially at Luna Park.